Hi and welcome to my channel. So with the current recession and prices for everything basically skyrocketing in the UK, finding simple practical ways to save money is something that is very important. So I'm going to be telling you 7 different ways that you can save on your car insurance, or how you can reduce your car insurance so that you're paying less for car insurance than you would normally do if you don't know these 7 things that I'm going to be talking about. Because look, you can pay as much as £300 every single month for car insurance in the UK. And you can imagine that if you're in a household where there's like husband and wife and both of you are driving, that's already £600, for example, from the family budget going out every single month on car insurance alone, excluding fuel and road tax and every other thing that comes with it. So that's why I decided to do this video, so that I can tell you 7 different ways that you can do to obviously reduce your car insurance payments in the UK. This is so important. Many of us work in healthcare, for example. We need our cars to go to work every day. Some people do domiciliary care. You know, your car is vital. How do you reduce your car insurance premiums is what I'm going to be covering in this video. So if you're new to my channel, obviously you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, I obviously appreciate your time and I hope that you're implementing all these things. If you're watching this and you're still out of the UK, it's still very relevant for you, because the whole point of this channel is that even if you're still out, the day that you get to the UK, you're already so well informed, you already know what to do, that you're not making the mistakes that some of us made when we got to the UK and we didn't have this information. If you're in the UK, then please, even if you've already got car insurance now, you can still implement these 7 things that I'm going to talk about to make sure that you reduce your car insurance premium. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you want to hit subscribe right now, turn on that notification button so you're the first to be notified every single time when I drop a new video on here on YouTube. But if you want that I send information directly to your inbox about career progression opportunities in the UK, side business opportunities in the UK, work from home opportunities in the UK, visa sponsorship opportunities in the UK, how to move to the UK, just progress really in this beautiful country, if you check the comment section below, you're going to see a link to my newsletter. If you join that newsletter, then I'll send that information directly to your inbox, so you're never reliant on the YouTube algorithm and you've got the information that you need, deserve to know directly to your inbox from myself. It will not take you up to 20 seconds to join that newsletter. You simply drop your name and email and bang on, you're part of the newsletter. So let's get started. The first thing is that it depends on the type of insurance that you're taking. So insurance companies normally have, like, let me just say, basically there are 3 types of policies that you can have basically. So the first one is third-party insurance. So third-party insurance, basically if you choose that one, then they're only going to, so if you have an accident, for example, they're going to repair the other person's car. The damage that you've caused on the other person's car is going to be repaired, but not yours. So that's third-party insurance. The next one is where there's third-party insurance plus theft and fire, which means that they would repair the other person's car. If your car is stolen or burnt, they're going to replace it. But if you have an accident, for example, and your car is involved, they're not going to fix it. So that's the second level of insurance. The third one is comprehensive. Comprehensive is where if anything happens, say there was an accident, for example, and it was your fault, they're going to fix your own car and fix the other person's car as well. So one thing I'm going to say is that don't assume that comprehensive insurance is going to be more expensive because it covers everything. This is not the case. In most cases, comprehensive insurance is a lot cheaper, because what I have found is that, you know, with the third-party insurance, the difference between that and the comprehensive insurance is very low. And if you choose third-party insurance, it is completely assumed that you're more at risk, you know, you're more at risk obviously as a driver. But not only that, but you're more likely to claim, because obviously they're going to be repairing the other person's car. If there was an accident, for example, insurance companies assume that you're likely going to make a claim. So it is always best that if you're looking for an insurance quote, you know, for your car insurance quote, always go for the comprehensive and then compare that against a third party, rather than simply go for the third party assuming that comprehensive will be more expensive, because it's not always the case. So that's the first point. By the way, if you're wondering who I am, my name's Melvis. I currently work for the NHS here in England, in the UK, as an advanced nurse practitioner. I have a private career coaching service where I support nurses, carers, student nurses, students, prospective student nurses, and people that want visa sponsorship opportunities in the UK. I support with, you know, what are the best, you know, visa sponsorship opportunities in the UK, who is recruiting, what roles are providing visa sponsorship, how do you apply, where do you apply, how should you present your CV, your application, your cover letter, your personal statements, your interview preparation, literally every single thing that you need to excel, thrive in the UK, settle in beautifully in your job, in the UK. That's what I do. So if you check the about section of this YouTube channel, you're going to see a link to my private coaching program called Nursing Career Bootcamp. And if you need any support in any of these things, you want to make sure that you join so that we can get started and I can give you that personalized, that tailored, and that individualized support that you need to excel in this beautiful country. So whether you're out of the UK or you're in the UK, this program is going to be perfect for you to support you with that journey. So let's move to the second point. So the second point is, where do you live? So where you live in the UK is so incredibly important for everything. So if you're getting car insurance, for example, and you live in a built-up area, so you live in a town or a city, your car insurance is going to be more expensive, because if you're living in a town or a city or a built-up area, it is perceived by the insurance companies that obviously you're more at risk, because there's probably going to be more people in that area. The chances of stealing your car, a lot higher. But if you move a little bit out of the city to the countryside, you're going to pay less for your car insurance, because obviously there are fewer people, and it's less likely that something is going to happen to your car, so your insurance is going to be lower. So even if you move house, it's always very important to update your, whoever you've got your car insurance with, because what you're going to notice is that your car insurance is going to go up or go down by simply changing your house address. So it's very, very important. But obviously this doesn't mean that you can then put an address that is not yours, because that place is in the countryside. This is fraud, obviously, because if there was to be a claim, the insurance company can say that no, you've done that illegitimately, and so they're not going to be able to support you, and they will be right, and you will not be able to do anything. So you want to make sure that you're putting the right information when you're doing that insurance policy. But know that if you change house, it's very important to update your address, especially if you move to a better area. If you live also in a nicer area, some areas are more expensive, they're posh, they're really good, they're full of professionals. If you live in an area like that, your insurance is also going to be cheaper. If you live in a really cheap area, you know what I mean, then you're going to be paying more for insurance, because it's perceived that it's going to be higher risk. And so you want to consider all these different things. And let's move to point number 3. So point number 3 is, where do you park? Yes, it's not only about where you live, but where do you actually park your car? So we're going to start from the answer that is going to give you the highest insurance premium to pay. So if, for example, because they're going to ask you these questions, obviously, when you're getting your insurance, they're going to ask on the form, you need to put the information down. So the question is going to be, where do you park your car? Option number 1 is that you park on the street, on your street, obviously. So you're going to pay the highest premium if you park on the street, because it is very exposed. People can easily scratch your car. People can easily steal the car. A car can be driving past and the mirror falls off or something. So your insurance is going to be higher if you park on the street, if that's the answer. The second one is, if you park on your driveway, which means that you have a house that has a specific driveway and a specific parking spot for yourself. If that's where you park and you put that on the insurance form, you're going to pay a little bit less than if you're parking on your street, because obviously it's got that specified space that is for you. So it's a bit, better to park on there than on the street, so you're going to pay a little bit less. If you've got a garage, that's the third option, you're going to pay the least for your insurance, because a garage is safer. They're going to assume that you're going to open your garage, you're going to put your car in there, you're going to close it, get into the house, so it's very safe. Somebody cannot scratch it, somebody cannot steal it, nothing. It's unlikely that anything bad is going to happen to your car in your garage, so it is much safer, and for that reason you're going to be paying less. So again, as you're filling in that questionnaire for your insurance policy, it's not only like for a matter of principle that are asking you. All those things that you fill in are going to impact on your policy, and that's why when you're filling in the information, you need to check how the amount is changing. Sometimes you can literally see how changing one single answer can impact on the price that you're going to be paying, on the insurance premium that the company is going to be charging you. So that's the third one. Number 4 is the mileage. Look, the mileage is how much are you going to be driving your car. And by the way, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I just want you to hit subscribe right now. Turn on the notification button so you're the first to be notified when I drop a new video on here. And if you're enjoying this content, also like the video. It lets me know you're enjoying content like this and I should do more. If you've got any questions as I go along, Please leave the questions in the comment section below, and I'll be able to come back to these questions and make sure I provide more information. If you need links, I'll help you with that. If you've got issues with your own insurance right now, then obviously I can help to give you some advice. Obviously, I'm not an expert when it comes to insurance companies and policies, but I can tell you what I know about it because look, I do extensive research on most things in the UK, and so I know a lot about different industries, different sectors, and just different aspects of just having a beautiful life in the UK. So I'm more than happy to help and share that information obviously with you. But if you need that personalized, individualized, tailored support for yourself with career progression to move to the UK, visa sponsorship opportunities, then do join my private coaching program, Nursing Career Bootcamp, which you're going to find on the About section of this YouTube channel. And I will be able to work on a more personal level, obviously, to make sure that you're supported through that journey. So we've talked about, the mileage. Now that's where we are. So with mileage, in fact, insurance companies in the UK assume that the average UK person should drive about 6,800 miles per year. So when you're applying for car insurance, this is kind of more or less the quote that are going to go by. So you need to put how much are you going to be driving per year. For example, if for example you're driving say 3,000 miles, just to give an example, if you're driving say 3,000 miles, that's really low compared to the 6,800. So automatically you're going to be perceived as a dangerous driver because obviously you probably don't have confidence to drive, and that's why your mileage is so low. Therefore you're at high risk, which means that your premium is going to be higher. But if your mileage is closer to 6,800, then it's assumed that you're driving the average mileage for an average person in the UK, and so it's not really going to impact it that much. Also, if your mileage is very high, let's say 20,000, it's assumed that you're quite a risky driver because you're driving quite a lot, and so your insurance premium is going to be higher because your mileage is a lot higher. But let me tell you one tip here. If you're driving very little, there are some insurance companies that will give you a policy per mileage, which means that if you're driving less, say the mileage is really low. For example, let's say if you work say 5 minutes from where you live, your mileage is going to be really, really low, isn't it? So they can give you a policy that is per mileage, and by so doing, you're going to end up paying a lot less. So it's worth considering all these different aspects because ultimately they're going to have a huge impact on how much you're paying for your insurance. Me, for example, I work like 1 hour away from where I work, so my mileage on my car has really, really increased since I started this job like 3 years ago, because I drive 1 hour to work, 1 hour back. That's a lot. If I do that 3-4 times a week, how much is that? So my mileage has really, really increased dramatically. So let's move to number 5. So number 5 is really like, what's the age and value of your car? How old is your car? How old is it? How much, if you have a Ferrari, for example, and the Ferrari is 300,000 pounds, do you think you're going to pay more for insurance or less? I want to leave in the comment section below. What do you think? If you have a Lamborghini, for example, are you going to pay more or less? If you've got a Maserati, or if you've got a Fiat, or if you've got I don't know what cars, Nissan, are you going to pay more or less? The truth is that the more expensive your car, the more expensive your insurance is going to be. The cheaper your car, the cheaper the car insurance is going to be in the UK. And the reason for this is that if you've got a Ferrari and you've got an accident and they need to repair your Ferrari, the insurance company is going to spend a lot of money to repair a Ferrari than they would repairing, say, I don't know, a Ford Focus, for example, or, a Nissan, whatever car it is, because a Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati, BMWs and all those cars, they're more expensive, obviously. So if your car is very expensive and brand new, your insurance is going to be higher. So the advantage that you have in the UK with a brand new car is that your road tax is going to be low, or you don't pay any road tax at all. I don't know if they've introduced it now for new cars, but I know when I had my car, it was brand new. I was told I was going to pay no road tax for like 3 years, but 2 years into my car, I got a letter saying, hey, you got to pay road tax. So I don't know if that's changed for everybody, or maybe I was just the unlucky one, but that's what happened to me. So I don't know, but basically the more expensive your car, the more expensive your car insurance is going to be. So you need to be aware of that. When you're going for those big boys and big girls, you need to be ready for the insurance. But obviously if you're buying such an expensive car, then really car insurance is not going to be an issue, right? Because you've got the money anyway to spend, but those things impact on your car. So you need to be aware of that. And then also, number 6, and one thing that's going to impact also on your insurance premium and how much you're paying for your car insurance is adding another driver to your insurance policy. Look, this is something that has a huge impact, because if, for example, let's say that you're female and you've never been driving, and then eventually, let's say your husband has been driving the whole time, and then eventually you get your UK driving license and you decide to get a car. If your husband has a really good driving record, he's never made any accidents, he's been driving for 20 years, he's got a no claims bonus that is absolutely amazing for those 20 years, what you can do is, if you add your husband to your, it could be anybody, I'm just giving an example of husband. If you add your husband to your insurance policy, you're going to pay less than you would if it was only you. So even though you've got an additional driver, the insurance is going to come down, because it is perceived that because your husband is going to drive your car sometimes, and because he's got such a good record, it's a risk. It reduces the risk because you are going to drive the car less, because those times that he's driving, you're going to be sat at the passenger seat or outside of the car, which makes it less risky for the insurance company, and so it's better, and so that brings your premium down, it brings it lower. But let me say a but here. There is something that insurance companies called fronting. So fronting is where, let's say you're a new driver, you just have your driving license now, and because you know that your husband has a really good driving history, you choose to buy a car that you know that's yours, you know you're going to be driving it, and then you put your husband as a main driver and then put yourself as a second driver. Obviously, the insurance policy is going to be even lower, but that is not legal. It is called fronting, and so you shouldn't do that. You should always be the main driver. If that's your car, you're the main driver, and you should put your husband as the second driver, because that's what it is. Otherwise, the insurance company can cancel your policy if they find out that that's what's happened, and which means that if you need to make a claim, they're going to be like, hey, look, you lied about this, you're the main driver, it's not your husband, so you've got no insurance. Basically, you don't want to be in that situation, so you always want to put that person as the second driver, so that the real owner of the car, the real driver of the car, is always the main driver and the main holder of that policy. But by adding that second person, is going to reduce the premium and reduce how much you are paying. So again, these are things that, look, you're not going to be taught this in school. These are things that you learn, from just life, from knowing things, from getting access to those people who have access to that information and who are keen on teaching other people. And that's why I'm keen on bringing this info to you, because like I've said, you can pay as much as £300 per month for car insurance. And if you're a couple and you've got 2 cars, can you imagine how much money that is in a year from one family? Because £300, let's even say £500 per month in a year is £6,000. That's £6,000 that you're losing as a family. If you're a carer and you're earning £1,200, look, that's a lot of money to go out of the family. If you're a nurse and you're earning £1,600 or how much ever you're earning, that's a lot of money to go out. So you want to make sure that you're implementing all these things that I'm saying. If anything changes from your situation, you need to update it, because it may impact on your policy. But not only that, it may mean that your policy is going to be annulled if you were to make a claim if you haven't updated your information. So number 7 is your job title. You may think that this doesn't matter, but look, if you put, let's say for your insurance policy, if you put, say you work as a healthcare professional, let's say your insurance premium can be like £50 per month. Just to give an example, if you put like registered nurse, it can come down to like £10 per month by adding the word nurse, because that word nurse is a sensitive word, and it's going to be like, if you're a nurse, you're perceived as being calm, you're being responsible, you're being knowledgeable, you're going to drive safely, you're going to be a good driver, and all of that. So it's going to bring your premium down. If you're a doctor as well and you put your title as Dr. This, it's going to bring your premium down, because your job is quite good, and it's going to be perceived that you're going to be less risky as a driver because of your profession. So your profession also matters, when you're getting your insurance policy and your premium, because if you have a job that is perceived to be more risky and unsafe, then your insurance premium is going to be higher. And look, it is crazy, because this is how it works, and that is the perception from the insurance companies, and all these different things are going to impact on your insurance premium, your insurance policy, and how much you're ultimately paying. So this doesn't mean that You should put a different profession from what you're doing, because again, if you need to claim, that's where it can be very challenging if you've not put the right information, because they can literally cancel your policy and say, look, Melvis, you lied to us, so we're not going to make this claim because what the information you provided to us about your profession is not true. This is not what you do, and so we're not going to repair the car or whatever it is that has happened. And they'll be right to do so because you've not provided the right information. So you always want to make sure that the insurance company has the right information. But if your profession can have different titles, try to put those different titles and see what they come up. For example, as a nurse, you can have staff nurse, you can have registered nurse, you can have qualified nurse. All those things are going to impact on your premium. And you can even just go online, play around with those different quotes and see how much comes up with each title that you put. That's what I do sometimes. And I just look at it and I'm like, oh my God, by simply putting registered nurse or qualified nurse, the amount is different. If you put healthcare professional, it could be anybody in healthcare. It really doesn't say much. But if you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're a carer, all those things have an impact. Let's say you're a domiciliary carer, for example. If you put domiciliary carer, it's perceived as high risk because you're going to be going from house to house. So it's more likely that you're going to get into an accident. That's just the perception. It doesn't mean you will, but that's just how it's perceived. So you want to make sure that you're implementing all these different things. Share this video with your friends, with your colleagues, with your loved ones, with your family, so that they are aware of this. And so these tips can help them, because I know that times are very hard now for all of us. And so finding any ways that we can save more money is so incredibly important. And that's why I'm somebody who is really keen on retiring early. So I'm always looking for ways of saving more money, making more money, saving more money, making more money. And that's why I'm more than happy to share all this with you. What has been the point that has kind of shocked you the most? What has been the best points for you? If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you do want to hit subscribe, turn on that notification button. If you haven't joined my newsletter, check the comment section below and join the newsletter so I can send this info directly to you. If you need my individualized support for career progression, visa sponsorship opportunities, then join my private coaching program, which you'll find on the About section of this YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.